What's up, guys? Weather Wednesday coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today I have finally done it. I have worked my way up all the way to Live Arena Gold 3, meaning that I can finally summon Quintus. Now, when he was first introduced into the game, people weren't so sure that he was a very good champion. Particularly the Krakens and whales who were able to get him very quickly. They thought he wasn't that good. And maybe he's not that good for arena situations. I haven't really run into him in any sort of arena situation. Not really, unless somebody was just throwing him in like a one-man defense or something. But he is very good for Hydra. And so, I want to get him. Now, of course, I don't have to summon him right away, but I want to because we have a champ chase going on right now. And we have a champ training going on right now. And I need to boost some points for both of those. So I'm going to go ahead and summon Quintus right now. And then I'm just going to talk about... I struggled going to talk about how I got him. Basically the champions that I use in Live Arena. I do not have an OP account. I'm not free to play, but I'm pretty close. I would be what you call a minnow, a very low spender who hasn't spent in a very long time, because you really don't need to spend to progress in this game. I've bought some gem packs, and one time I bought 4 void shards so that I could get a guaranteed seer, because that's the only way I could summon seer in this game. Even after 3.25 years in this game, that's the only time I ever got my seer, is when she was guaranteed for 40 shards and I had 39, so I had to buy a 4-pack. As you can see, Live Arena is not live right now, and unfortunately I can't really do Live Arena on my computer because the game hates my Wi-Fi. I have to play it on my phone on data because the game hates my Wi-Fi. But you can see, here are my battles, and I very consistently run the same 8 to 10 champions depending on what my opponents run. I just don't have like the most OP account when it comes to arena, and I have to find ways to defeat some very OP teams. Sometimes it works out, sometimes not so much. When I start running into people with a whole bunch of mythical champions, that does not work out well for me most of the time. I only have one mythical champion, and it's, you guessed it, Lady Mikage, who is one of the champions that I do typically use. So what I do is I actually don't keep champions in this area unless I'm building them up or I use them for some sort of arena situation. Even champions that I use for dungeons and stuff, I mostly keep in my master vault. And champions, you know, like epic champions that I've built but don't really use, or duplicates or whatever, I keep in my reserve vault. So my vaults are very full, but my main stable is mostly just champions that I use in Live Arena, so that I have quick access to them, because it's hard to find them if you have too many champions in the way. Yes, you can like type in or whatever, but that's not fast enough for me when you have to think quickly and then find the champions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, first of all, my preferred lineup. my preferred 5 if I can get them, and then I'll show you like the other champions that I tend to use. Now, first of all, of course, I have Armand's. I have him in Pinpoint and Stone Skin. I try to get almost all of my live arena champions in Stone Skin, because quite frankly, if I do not, I'm just going to get wiped out, because I don't have like the tankiest tanky champions that I'm going to be using. Even the ones that are kind of tanky aren't that tanky. So I've got Armand's. Now, obviously, you have to pick him first, pretty much, and then he gets banned. Or if the other team gets to go first, they pick him and he gets banned. So pretty much his one use in the game for live arena, most of the time, like 99% of the time, is just to get banned. And so you want to be able to go first. You get him, he gets banned, and then you get to use your other 4 champions that you want to use. Hopefully those champions are not going to be picked by other players. Now, what happens after I pick Armand's is then I go with the duo that has really changed my account, and that is the White King and Queen. Of course, White Queen and Cora was a fusion champion, and I've got her built in 4 pieces of protection and 4 pieces of stone skin. Unfortunately, I do not have a good piece, a good amulet for her in either. I'll have to double check that now, because you get them every once in a while. Maybe something has come along recently. Let's see, I could throw her in a defensive stone skin amulet, and that might be an option. I'll have to take a look at that. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep her alive, and I've got her resistance okay. None of my builds are like super duper OP. I am not a Kraken in this game. Like, the numbers that you're going to see from me are not the ones that you're going to see from people that are in like Gold 4 Live Arena or something like that. I'm just an okay player who has been around long enough, and I was able to get to Gold 3 Live Arena with these champions. And so White King I also have in Stone Skin. I wish I didn't have to have him in Stone Skin, because it's harder to get him to hit as hard as and if I didn't have to fit in very particular pieces. Like, I had to use 3 5-star pieces just so that he could have stone skin and lethal. That's just the build that I'm able to get him in. Obviously, try to get him high HP. Could be better, he could be faster. This is just the build that I was able to put him in, and it's great when I can get this duo, because they're hard to take down. Not impossible. I lose a lot of fights, but once I get them on the board, hopefully, then I typically am hoping that I can get Marius on the team. I happen to have him in Stone Skin, of course, and I've got 5 pieces of Slayer. I don't have the most Slayer gear in the world. I just happen to have the pieces that I needed for this champion. By some miracle, I have a defense ring, I have a crit damage amulet, and I have a defense banner with accuracy and speed. Just luck. Just luck, because I don't have the most Slayer gear. I haven't ever bought one of those passes where you get Slayer gear or anything like that. But I was able to get him in, stone skin, crit damage gloves, and a stone skin chest plate, and unfortunately a 5-star speed boot sometimes you just have to deal with what you have. He just happens to work very well in Slayer, and I just happen to have just enough to get the job done. So I really like him. And then typically, most of the time, I'm going to try to throw in Mariska. She's just very good at keeping the team alive, healthy, full of HP. Basically, because Armand's is going to get taken from me, that's going to leave me with White King and Queen most of the time. And then I just need to be able to keep his HP high enough that he's smacking hard. Now, what happens when one of these or all of these champions are taken from me? You have to improvise. And things don't usually go well for me when I don't get my favorite champions, but I'll go ahead and show you some other champions that I do use. One, of course, is Lady Mikage, and I have her built very specifically for Live Arena, even though I do use her in Hard Fire Night, and I do use her in one of my Hydra teams, but I do have her in Relentless and Stone Skin, and that's because that was recommended by the guy who runs or helps run the #1 Live Arena team. He helps Doc Moreau run his team. I forget exactly how to pronounce his name, his in-game name. He's got a YouTube channel, it's Cruisin' or something like that. He's from Brazil, I believe, and he's been making the rounds on YouTube lately. And I saw him, I think he was talking to Ash in this video, and he was just saying, I think he said Relentless and Stone Skin, so I tried it out, and it's actually great. Because what I do is I try to go to her second form, and if they have Stone Skin, you can remove it with her A3, and then if her Relentless procs, you can also throw in the stun. So, of course that doesn't always work, but sometimes you're stuck. Maybe the other person took Armand's, so you try to throw in Lady Mikage. Sometimes it works. Now, Arbiter is still very useful for those who don't have Su Shen. Basically, you're trying to go first. She's also got a nice revive, and you're just going to get, your turn meter increased, and she's just going to help you try to put away a few battles. She gets used against me more than for me, but I do throw her in sometimes. Now, Sun Wukong is such an annoying champion, and to be honest, he's used better against me as well than for me, just because of how I do my other picks. I don't tend to pick him, but he's very good. He's very dangerous. I don't have the world's best build on him. It's just very difficult to get damage and accuracy on him, so I struggle to use him. But he does come in handy. He can be used even at the level that I'm at. A ton of people still use him. Now, I do use UDK mostly when I'm going against a Sun Wukong or against like a Rhodos or something. Just somebody who's single target damage you're trying to avoid. So he's usually like a last pick for me, but I do use him. Unfortunately, I don't really use Baron. I would love to be able to use Baron. I do use Baron for like a speed arbiter team, and that's just about all I use him for in the game, other than like, faction stuff. But I have thought about re-gearing him in Stone Skin to see if I could still use him, but he's just not tanky enough. I don't really run into him in Live Arena either, so if nobody else is trying him, I'm not so sure that I should really bother with that. Ramontu Drake's Blood. He is actually very useful. When I first got him, it took a while to figure out how to use him, but getting that A3 for the block active and block passive skills can be very helpful when you're going against somebody with one of those really annoying mythicals. So he does come in handy. I don't use him a ton, but you know, if I were to fight, say, 20 battles, I'd probably use him once or twice. It just kind of depends. Now, Warlord, again, both Ramontu and Warlord, same kind of deal. You want Perception, or now, you know, I might want to try to rebuild them in Pinpoint. I just haven't gotten around to putting Pinpoint on anybody except for Armands, like a full Pinpoint set. But both of these champions would work pretty well in Pinpoint, I think. But yeah, Stone Skin, Perception. Ramontu can do a little bit of damage. Like, he's not a pure nuker, but if you need like him to do just a little damage, so that, like, say White King needs, so that he can completely wipe out the team, that can work. I don't use Warlord a ton. Mostly I just don't have him fast enough. If I could get him much faster, then he would be much more useful for me, because I hate going against Warlords, and even worse than Warlord, Yumiko. Going against a really fast Yumiko is really annoying. Sometimes I have to block her instead of Armaz. Up next, Pythion. Not my favorite. I would much rather have the White Queen and Marishka in there. But, you know, I don't have like a Duchess, I don't have a Sippy, so Pythion is just kind of, it's a third option. Like, if they took either White Queen or Marishka or both, I'm probably gonna have to throw a Pythion in there. Trunda, I haven't tried her out in Arena since she got nerfed from Hydra. I still just use her in Hydra. I just have her out because I'm probably trying to improve her build or something. So that's the only reason why she's out. Prince Kaimar, I probably need to get him in Pinpoint as well. But he actually came in useful today. I don't use him a ton in Live Arena, but sometimes your only option is that old school Arbiter to Kaimar, sleep the other team, and then hopefully wipe them out. It doesn't work a ton, particularly, well, if you get to choose last, it can work. But otherwise, there's just too many ways to kind of counter Kaimar. So I wouldn't choose him early, but you can choose him last. Tormund doesn't see a ton of action at this level. Kind of earlier in like Gold 1, early Gold 2. Some people were using Tormund for a while and he could be annoying, but people just realized, oh, Tormund's an option. We need to put Stone Skin on everything. So once I started putting Stone Skin on everything, I realized Tormund wasn't that scary to go against, and therefore he's rarely useful on my team as well, because I'm just kind of assuming that the other team is going to also be mostly in Stone Skin. And while I'm here, let's just say, if you're trying to do Live Arena, if you get into Gold, you really need Stone Skin. You just really do. So, do Hydra, get your Stone Skin, you kind of have to. And then finally, the man, the myth, the Rat King. He has made a major comeback in this game. The last couple months, people realized, it's basically impossible for most champions to stop him. The only way to stop him is number one, Marishka. You have to automatically ban Marishka if you're trying to run a Nishak. But other than that, you've got to like have a much faster. Basically, you have to have like a Siffy in protection where she throws up a block buffs really fast. It's the only way to stop this dude, because he's gonna throw up the bomb and then he's going to reduce the cooldown on the bomb, the double bombs, and then as soon as the opponent goes, they blow up, they die. And so I don't have the best Nishak build in the world. I don't use him a ton, but he is a major threat, and he did come in handy, especially the last couple weeks. I've been trying to improve him a little bit. But yeah, again, Stone Skin, Perception. And there's a lot of that. You just need Stone Skin in the game. Maybe at the top level, maybe you don't need Stone Skin for everything. Because maybe you have the tankiest mythical +4 legendaries, whatever. Maybe. Maybe you have the best gear in the world. Maybe. But at my level, I just have to have Stone Skin on just about everybody except Arbiter, who I just have going fast. Pretty fast. My Arbiter is 397. Plus, I have a 5-star Intimidating Presence. So she's pretty fast. There are faster, of course. Yeah. It's just what you gotta do. So if you are like me and you are desperately trying to get Quintus, well, like me until a couple hours ago, if you're trying to get Quintus, what you gotta do, and yes, I dropped down to gold 2 because my last battle I got destroyed by a bunch of mythicals, of course. As soon as I got into gold 3, it's like, yeah, we have all the mythicals in the world. Okay. You run into that a lot in gold 2 as well. Just like every few battles, it's like, oh, by the way, I have a bunch of mythicals. It's difficult to climb, but if you want to improve your live arena, my main tip, put Stone Skin on everybody that you use in live arena. Just about. It's kind of a necessity. So that's my opinion, and that is how I finally have my Quintus. Now I absolutely need to build him up before I forget. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I'm going to use a ton of brews, and then I'm going to upgrade him with a bunch of chickens I've been saving. What's going on? And then I'm going to ascend him. There you go. There you go. Quintus the Triumphant on my account. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Wilder Wednesday. Let me know what you think about my builds and the champions that I use. Are you working on Live Arena? And is there anything that has really helped you out? If there is a tip that has really improved your account, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. I'm Wilder Wednesday. I'll be back with more Raid Shadow Legends content. See ya!